Okay, so I just got the new old stock piston on, and I haven't put in the keeper yet. I wanted to show you something. Any of you that are not used to working on bikes or things, can you see the twist in that? See the way that there's a part that sits out more than the other? You always make sure that the part sitting out goes to the outside. So when you're putting this in again, I'm putting it in this side. So the part that you can just see sticking out there a little bit will go to the outside, not the inside of this. So that's just to let you know that. I'll set this up here again. I'll wrestle with this a bit and you can watch me. So as I said, tonight I'm very sorry about the shaky camera work. It's just that I'm a busy guy tonight. I hope I'm not going to get in your way too much here trying to do this. I want you to get a view, but I also want to get it right myself. So, and I just squirted myself with oil on the face. Oh, right. So outwards. Okay. I'll try and do this without losing this thing. It can be quite difficult to get these in sometimes, so bear with me. I want to do it right, make sure that I'm not getting anything messed up here. I'm sorry about the light. Even though I got a new work light here, it still can be quite difficult to show you what's going on sometimes. And for something like this, you really need the light to show somebody. I don't know if I'm going to be able to show you this without I'll try and stick on the light here with a bit of luck. It'll help you. Mightn't make much difference, but we'll see. I really need to get in at this to do it, so bear with me. As I said, it's very difficult to do this and try and show you at the same time. So you get it in there. You have to catch one edge in. Oh, would be a help if them bars weren't in my way, but beggars can't be choosers. And I chose the wrong side to be trying to do this, so also not being a help. Right. I think I'm close. Close. I'm not there, but I'm close. Very close, guys. I'm just going to push it in with a bit of a screwdriver here. There, I heard the click. So it's in. There's a little recess in there and you have to make sure it's sitting in it. And once it's in, make damn sure it's pushed in, because if that ever comes out when the bike's running, you can expect to have a big mess on your hands. Right, I'm just going to put this one back into the piston here so that I don't lose it. I'm a bit surprised at that piston being scored up. Don't know what might have done that. There's no reason why it should have done that. It's only very light. I mean, you can expect it to get a small bit, I guess. Some of you experts will be able to tell me more. So I'm just going to put this keeper back in, because this barrel may still be a useful barrel. I don't know. Like, I'm only just, I wasn't comfortable. That's all. I wasn't comfortable using it after what happened. So I wanted to give the bike every chance of running because it's such a rare bike. And if I mess up this engine, the chances of me getting another engine for this bike identical is slim and none. Believe me, these bikes are very rare now. And any that are on the road are people have. They're working bikes. They're not bikes that are lying around in sheds, because they're such a rare one. So I'll just set that bar over there for now. And can you see me there? Oh, you can see well. Right, I'm going to try and put this on, but I have to mess. I put 2 gaskets on this, so now I'm going to take one off. So it's not something I like messing with too much, is the gaskets, because you can rip them easy and then they're no good to you. Which is something that's very likely to happen to me. I'm just that prone to things going wrong, and this bike has fought me every step of the way. This bike has fought me. I mean, I've done up a few other bikes in my time. I've never had one that I've had as much bad luck with as this one. I'm not saying something like, right, I have that one. It's thin. It's a bit thicker. I'll take the one I made off, because it's obviously not going to be the best one for the job. Obviously the best one for the job is the one that has been made by a manufacturer. And this still has a gasket on it. It's not a great one though, but yeah, it's not too bad. Like, probably would work. I may just leave it there and try it anyway. Yeah, maybe I'd be better off just cleaning it off and using a good gasket like what I have here. Probably. But like, this gasket is paper thin, whereas the one that's on the barrel at the minute feels a little more solid, to be honest. That's pretty good. Pretty good. What will I do, guys? Will I go with this gasket, or will I take it off? I might, no, I can't put a little bit of sealer around that, because that's the oil pipe, and anything goes wrong there and we have a problem. So I'm not going to do that. I should probably clean this barrel, I think. What do you reckon? Do you think I should clean it? Take the gasket off? I think that's what I'm going to do. So just give me a minute and I'll be back to you. Well, that was a mistake and a half. Hell, I've never had, I've worked on a few bikes now, like, and I've never had as much trouble removing a gasket in my life. I don't know what they stuck it on with, but it must have been bloody good stuff. So that's it now. I've cleaned it up a little bit, and I'm going to put a little bit of gasket seal on this side of the thing just to keep it right, make sure it seals right. And you guys can sit here and watch as I do that. Don't let me forget about my other seal that's to go around this. So I usually just smear a little bit. It's even a bit thick there, on a bit thick, you know. I just smear a little bit over it, just enough to stick the gasket. Make sure you get it sealed all around. So just enough. That's the area where the oil pipe is, so you got to be careful not to put too much in that area. You do not want to end up sealing up your oil hole, or you could be in big trouble. I don't think I have to explain what that would do. I'm sure you already know. For those of you that don't, There's a little hole here that lets the oil through to go up to the head of the bike, and if you put sealer over that, you could be in big trouble, because if you seal up your oil hole, there's no oil getting to the head of the bike, which means that the head's going to go kaput. Right, so I'm putting a very, very thin layer here, not even enough to make a bubble whenever this gasket goes on, so that I don't end up blocking up my oil hole. So there you go. It's thinner here than it is everywhere else on the bike. So right, that's that much done. Let's get our gasket here and just put it into place. What side? That side, I believe. Yeah, just let me double check that, make sure. Better to be safer than sorry. Yeah, so the oil hole is here, and that's where it needs to be. Needs to be right there. I'll just tap that down nicely, make sure it sticks. Good. Happy enough with that. Holds all in the right places. Okay, happy. You didn't remind me about my seal. I'm putting my seal on now, so. For those of you that don't know, there's a little seal that has to go around the. It's an O-ring, which I nearly forgot, and it held me back a long time with this bike because I hadn't got one, and I nearly forgot it, and it would have been a disaster. So there's a ring that goes around that. Don't forget it. And I've already got proper gasket on that. I wonder, should I just use that one? Does no harm to have two anyway, but do you know what? In the interest of just making sure I'm right in what I'm doing, I'm gonna do that. I'm just gonna use the one, and I'll take this opportunity to just clear that little tiny spot where the oil hole is, because I'm afraid that might end up blocking my oil hole. So I'll take a bit and I'll just smear it along here and leave the oil hole clear. Yeah, that's what I'll do, and I'll use the gasket that's on this. I'm just kind of half sleeping tonight, that's my problem. I should have realised I had that ready. But anyway, we'll work it. We'll make sure it works. Wow, that's kind of stuck on there now. Just give me a minute. All freed up except one hole. There we go. Yeah, I do not want to rip it, so bear with me. I'm working with one hand again. There we go. Right. And I nearly shit the bricks there because I thought that was my chain falling into the engine again, which would have been fun, to say the least. And it's this gasket we want on the bike, because this is a proper, genuine gasket for the bike, and everything lines up the way that it should. There we go. Right guys, I think it's time for engine. I might throw a little bit of gasket seal just around the edges here, but I'll avoid the oil hole up here, so I will. Might just throw a little bit of sealant around that to make sure that we're getting a good tight seal. How do I show you this? How do I put you somewhere where you can see this and I can do it? Any of you know a good camera to buy? Tell me what sort of camera I should buy for this GoPro. Tell me what camera to go for to be filming this stuff for you, and I might invest. I think I really only need it's really only stands that I need more. So I mean, I could work away with a phone, but I really do need to work with a good stand, you know, that I can put phone places so that I can show you things and whatever. You know, you get what I mean. You get what I'm talking about. So I'm just talking out of my head at the minute. So the thing about these YouTube videos is none of these are ever scripted. It's just a person chatting away. It's almost like I'm having you over here for a few beers and we're working on the wee bike, you know. And that's kind of what I like about it. That it's a sort of a family thing, you know. All the biker family. Even though it's only a wee bike. A lot of people stick their nose up at the wee bikes, but I'll tell you something, there'll be a lot of people looking for them now that this oil's gone up with the war and everything, with Putin. These bikes will go up in price. There'll be people going mad to get them. So I'm just going to be careful around my oil hole here, what I'm doing. I'm not going to try and put too close to it, but I do want to seal the edges just to make sure I get a good air seal. Airtight. Now I'm just going to push the piston up there. I'm going to stick a wee bit around this. Hopefully, this is the last time I'll have to look at this and I'll not be pulling the head off again. I can imagine if I have to pull the head off again, it could be a nice mess. But anyway, right, we're going to put on our barrel now, so I'm going to set you over here. You can see what I'm doing. Give me a second. Right, let's get to work. So you've got three things to do here, and I've already explained it to you before. You have to hold the chain up, make sure that it stays in the right place. You have to hold this tensioner up, make sure it's in the right place. I start with the chain because it's easy to push it up through the barrel. So that's what I'm doing right now. Then I'll try and get it on the oh goodness, the chain's just pulled my gasket off. You know what, I'll put the gasket on the bottom of the bike here. That's probably the best option. Yeah, probably the best option. We know what we're doing then. Oh no, the chain. Oh, this chain's a bleeding nuisance sometimes, like, you don't think of it. I've already ripped one gasket because of the chain. Right, I have it now. That's definitely it, so I'll just seat that down nicely. Let it get to work. Right, now we're good to put on the other stuff. So here's our chain going up into the barrel again. Right hard. I'll try and get it onto the 4 holes here. Just have it lined up and ready for myself. Yeah, got that. Got my chain pulled up into place. Have to pull my tensioner into place. Make sure that the chain is not wrapped around that black thing again. It's get the piston into place. You need 4 hands to do this, honestly. 4 hands. You see, there's the tensioner not in place there. Right, now we're getting onto the piston now. You have to line it up properly. And we'll try with a bit of luck and just push it in. Just not the simplest job in the world. It's not straight. It's not a job I like doing. This. No. Just give me a moment. I'll pull the piston back up again. It's not playing ball with me. Not playing ball with me. There's a little ridge on the bottom, you see. You should be able to just push it in. You shouldn't have to compress the rings. But it's looking more and more like I'm going to have to compress the rings here. So I'm going to have to figure out a way of turning this motor without catching my chain up. It's a bit annoying. That's at the top dead center now. I'll try and push it in. That's proven a lot more difficult to put in than the last one. If I could get the first one, I'd know I'd have a good chance at the rest of them. Yes, there we go. Now, and we're down. We're down, but we're not sitting on the pins yet. Why? Just giving it a little tap, but it's not going down as far as I'd like it to. Might give it a little tap with the hammer, I know. Just, where's my wooden block? I can give it a little. Yeah, probably the better option. Hopefully this is not warped or something. I'm hoping it's not. Seems to be. I don't know if that's going to make a good seal or not. We'll just have to hope that it's going to. There's a bit of movement in that I'm not happy about, but you know, hopefully this head's not hatted, or this barrel. No, I think that's a little better. You'll see the difference in this one and in the other one that I had. Hold on, I'll show you. The way the piston's raised up, but it's a lot flatter. It doesn't come out of it as far whenever you have it up at top dead center. Not like this one. This one comes up and it sticks out a right bit now when it gets up to the top. Hold on a wee second. You can see what I'm on about. It sits up a lot higher than that one. So that's what I thought my issue was. Anyway, another thing I have to show you is your piston. When you're fitting your piston, you always make sure that it says in, goes to the back of the bike where you can see the overflow oil pipe is for the engine. You always go there to your intake valve. Always fit it that way. I think there's a difference, some sort of a difference in clearance there or something. I don't know what it is, but that's the way you're meant to do it. So just to let you know. Right, next we're going to put on the head. So bear with me and I'll be with you in a second. Okay, so this time I can make sure that I'm going to be minus a few leaks if I go round it with a little bit of this stuff. And that's your oil. No, that's not the oil pipe. Hold on a second, I have that dowel in the wrong place. That's not the oil pipe. Oopsie daisy. That would have been fun. That's the oil pipe there. And that's your guide dowel, as I call it. Now that locates where your head goes. There should be another one here, but I don't have one, so I'm just going to have to make do. Now, I'm going to smear a bit of this stuff on it, and I'll smear a bit of that stuff on, and then we'll put on our head. I'll just let you watch here. With a bit of luck, you'll be able to see what I'm at. Maybe you could use being up a little bit higher. I don't know where to put yous. You'll see. Ooh, can we focus? What if I put yous up here? Would that make any difference? Not sure. I'm finding it very hard to see myself. Where's the engine? Where even is the engine? Ah, there we are. I see it there. Right. It's not making much of a difference being there. I'll tell you what. I'll try and do it one-handed for you. Relatively simple thing to do. Smear a bit of stuff on. And don't be, if you're going to do this yourself, don't slap it on. Don't put a big load of it on. Just put a nice light, little light bit of stuff on. Just enough to cover it. You don't want to have trouble these later on trying to take this off. Believe me. Should you have to. I'm sorry about the shaky camera work tonight, guys. I really am. It's hard when you're working with one hand and you're trying to do a job right. Right, round there. And it's fine this time if I put it around the oil pipe, because the oil is coming up through the top of this, not through the bottom, and I'm trying to seal off the bottom anyway, so it's going to be a help if I do that, really. So that's what I'm going to do. I really just want to give myself good, make sure I've got no air leaks, and when you're sure you've got no air leaks, you can rule it out, you know. If anything goes wrong, she doesn't run for you, which often happens, and then you're stumped and you can't figure out what's going on. So putting this around here, definitely trying to get it around this a fair bit without trying to annoy the oil pipe itself. I'm going to just give that a wee wipe. Give the oil pipe a wee wipe, just in case anything got down in there, because it would only take the smallest piece to really make a mess of the thing. Yeah, that's good. That's good. What do you reckon now? Put on our gasket? I think so. We'll put on our gasket. And of course Damo forgets the chain again, so I'll have to pull that through. Give me a minute. Yay. And we're getting there, guys, we're getting there. Yep. And I'm going to position this as good as I can before I put anything else on the bike. Position it. Looks good. I'm going to put my seals on now, even though I don't know if we need them or not, but I'm going to put them on anyway. So there we go, putting them down. On the black one first. Might make absolutely no difference, but I'm sure it can't do any. Well, it actually could do some harm. It could stop it from sealing up. You could have an air leak because it'd stop it from sealing, but we're going to assume that it's going to work for us because that's what optimistic people do, isn't it? Optimism, don't you just love it? Now the head's next, and I'm wondering should I smear a bit of this stuff on the head as well. Probably wouldn't do any harm, you know. Just have to be careful around the oil hole area. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Just give me a second. Just don't want to make the videos too long for you. There. Nobody said that I didn't try my best to seal it up. So that's everything I can be confident now that hopefully that's going to seal up. Right, onwards. Upwards and onwards, as a man says. Now, I have to find a couple of pieces, so just bear with me and I'll get those couple of pieces and I'll be with you.